Hi, welcome to Chris Cook for YouTube. Today I'm going to be doing an old school favorite, which is rutabaga soup. Now I know that there's a lot of people out there that's not familiar with rutabagas, especially if you're not old school. This may be a vegetable that you just don't use in your home. But I must tell you that rutabagas is not only a good vegetable, it's a great foundation or a great base for any kind of soup that you're going to make, especially if it's in like the vegetable soups that you would make or the chicken soups that you would make. Now, this is what a rutabaga looks like, okay? This is the vegetable. It has a waxy outer coating, and on the inside is the part that we're going to cut this away. And it's a little bit hard to cut away, but we're going to cut this away, and then I'm going to dice up the inside to make the base for this very good soup. Now, the ingredients that I'm going to be using in order to make this soup, I'm going to use, I have this chicken broth sitting here, but if you don't need it, you don't have to use it, because I'm going to be using chicken wings, and in the chicken wings you will be able to make your own broth. So I just have it because I had that left over, so I said I'd just go ahead and throw it in. I'm going to need oregano, minced garlic, paprika, my favorite all-time stapler in the world, which is Lipton onion soup mix, salt and pepper to taste. I have some diced tomatoes. This is a large can of diced tomatoes. Of course, the chicken wings, which I've told you. I have carrots, this cabbage, and what I'm going to do with the cabbage is I'm going to just shred up some of it to put inside of the soup. I have potatoes, which I'm going to dice them up. I have some broad noodles. I'm going to use maybe about a bowl, like a cereal bowl of these, and you can use your own discretion on the noodles. Now, I did have a tomato in my refrigerator that was getting ready to turn bad, so I went ahead and diced it up. I'm going to put it in the soup, but if you don't have that, you don't need it, because you can always use just your diced tomatoes. That would be enough. I also cut up, for the sake of time, some onion and some celery, and I'm going to put that in the soup as well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and wash my ingredients, and I'm going to cut up everything that I need in order to make this delicious soup. And once I get that prepared, I'm going to meet you at the stove. I will already start to boil my chicken wings, and I'll already get ready to put in, as soon as I put in the chicken wings, I'm going to add the rutabagas, because rutabagas don't take a long time to cook. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to mush, because I want it to be the base for this soup. This is a great soup. It's a hearty soup. I hope you'll try it, and I'll meet you at the stove. Be right back. Okay, now I'm at the stove, and this is just now, it's kind of like simmering, so it's just getting ready to come up to a boil. This is the only thing I have here now is my chicken wings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add, this is what my cubed rutabagas look like. I just cubed them up. So I'm going to go ahead and add my rutabagas. And I use 2 rutabagas. You can use 1 if that's what you choose to do. Or you can use the 2. Now, to that, I'm going to go ahead. Remember I told you I had that tomato in my refrigerator. This part is just optional. I had the tomato in my refrigerator, so I'm going to use it. Okay, so I'll put the tomato in there. Then I will put in my onions and my celery that I have already pre-cut up, and I just diced it up real fine, put it in the Ziploc baggie. As a matter of fact, I diced it up yesterday, so I put it in the Ziploc baggie because I knew that I was going to make this soup today. Now, to this, I'm going to go ahead and add my seasonings. We're going to do, what I did do though is I had like a half of container of the chicken broth that I had in my refrigerator. I just went ahead and put that in, but that's optional because you will have chicken broth from your chicken. So I just had it in my refrigerator, just decided to do it. I'm going to do a tablespoon of paprika. I'm going to do a half of a tablespoon of oregano. Now I'm eyeballing this because I pretty much know how this goes. I'll be a little bit better when I post the ingredients at the bottom of the video. Now these, it does not take a long time for the rutabagas to cook. So what I want the rutabagas to do is to mush apart, because that's going to be part of my sauce that's going to be with my chicken soup, or I'm sorry, with my rutabaga soup. That's going to be part of the sauce. So I want it to go ahead and cook now so it can just mush apart. Now that can of tomatoes that I had, I'm going to go ahead and put in that can of tomatoes. This is a large can, so this is your 32-ounce can. But then I had a whole bag of chicken wings that I used, so that's not a problem. Now I'm going to salt and pepper to taste, and I'm going to put in a tablespoon of minced garlic. Okay. Then I'm going to let this cook for about 30 minutes before I add any more ingredients. And what you didn't see is I did have a it's like about a tablespoonful. I did have a 2 bouillon cubes. My bouillon cubes are a little bit better. I mean, they're a little bit bigger than the normal bouillon cubes. So I'm just going to crush this up and put it in my soup, and the only thing it's going to do is just give it more flavor. Okay. Then in goes my favorite all-time seasonings in the world. I could do a commercial for this because I love this. I'm telling you, I don't care what you're cooking. This really just add that little extra flavor that you need when you're cooking dishes like this. I would never go without my Lipton and your soup mix. And my chicken wings are kind of healthy. You know, they're kind of large. Now, it does not take a long time for chicken wings to cook. Really, you can cook them in about 30 to 45 minutes. 30 to 45 minutes is a good time for my rutabagas, because then my rutabagas will also be kind of like mush, and it'll add a good base for my soup. So I'm going to go ahead, cover this up, allow this to cook for 30 minutes before I add anything else. And when I get ready to move to the next stage, I'll bring you right back. Be right back. All right, now we're back, and I'm going to the next stage. I want to take the top off of this pot and show you. This is a medium-high heat that I'm cooking this on. And if you can see, what I'm really looking for is my rutabagas. See, because they're beginning to pull apart. Here's a good example. See, they're pulling apart, which is what I want them to do. Now, I'm going to, and while we were away, I did add the salt and the pepper to it, because I did point it out, but I didn't add it. And that was about a tablespoon of salt, and it was a half of a tablespoon of pepper. Now, at this point, if you need yours to have a little kick to it, you can go ahead and add some cayenne pepper. I didn't add the cayenne pepper because you know that my food has to be kid friendly. But at this point, I'm about 30 minutes from it being ready to serve. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my next 2 ingredients, which would be my potatoes. Okay. They're in. And I'm going to add my carrots. Okay. Now, the last 2 ingredients that I want to add to this is going to be the cabbage and the noodles, because that only takes 15 to 20 minutes in order to cook. Okay, because I still like my cabbage to have a crunch in it. So this is ready, and I'm going to go ahead. One other thing that I did add is I did add like maybe a half of maybe a pint of water. Okay, maybe a little bit more. And I did change the pot, as you can notice, because my pot was just too small for all of the ingredients that needed to go in. Now, I added a little bit more water to this soup. But what you don't need to do, the surprising thing about this is the fact that the rutabagas are, the taste and the seasoning that you're going to get from the rutabagas is enough to carry the soup. So in other words, you don't need to add more seasonings just because I added more water, because the flavor in the rutabaga will, or the rutabagas, because I did have two, it will infuse the soup. So it will still have a good flavor without you going ahead and adding more seasoning to the pot just because you added more water. So I'm going to allow this to cook, because these potatoes, roughly, I'm going to cook them for 10 minutes before I add the final two ingredients, which is going to be the noodles and it's going to be the cabbage. So stay with me. I'll be right back. As you can see, it's thickening up, which is exactly what I wanted it to do, but the rutabagas is causing it to thicken. So I'll be right back. Okay, now we're back. It's been about 10 minutes worth of cooking. Alrighty. And this is coming along real good. And I did have a taste. It is good. It really is good. I mean, that rutabaga the rutabagas just do so much for the taste. I want to get that bone out of there. And when I see a bone, and that's something else I want to tell you too, you don't have to use chicken wings. I use chicken wings because that was what I had. You can use chicken thighs is the perfect thing to use in a dish like this. You know, I mean, chicken drums, anything that you may have, chicken breasts, just go ahead and put it in there. But chicken wings was all that I had, so that was what I used today for this dish. Okay, and I had a taste for it too, and it tastes very good. Now the last two ingredients that we're going to put in here, we're going to put in the cabbage. It's because cabbage does not take long to cook. If you like it like I like a crunch still in my cabbage, so I don't cook my cabbage until it just gets really soft. And what I did is I didn't shred it. I just took it down so you can see where the green is. That's how thick I made every little slice of the cabbage that I was putting in here, because I didn't want those big chunks of cabbage. Now once you put it, it takes about the same time for my cabbage as it does for my noodles. So once I get my cabbage in, then I'm going to go ahead and put in my noodles as well. And like I told you, it does not take a lot of time once you're right here. I mean, it's just simply a cakewalk. Okay, and I did turn my heat down. I'll turn it back up, you know, up underneath my pot. But I want it, because you have to make certain that your heat is up when you're adding something like noodles. And what I didn't want to do is to have it so high that you could not hear me. Okay, so this is almost ready. I'm going to add another little bit of water, and I'll put the ingredients down at the bottom. But you know that if your dish is running out of water, just go ahead and add some. The good news with this is that because it is rutabagas, that's the base for this soup, you don't have to continue to add seasonings, because your rutabagas is going to do that for you. So I'm going to go ahead, turn my heat back up a little bit, allow this to cook until this gets my cabbage and my noodles get done. Then I'm going to come back and dish up a plate. Be right back. Okay, now we're back and the soup is ready. So I'm going to take this off and dish you up a bowl of this very good. It is really good. I know that a lot of my younger viewers that are simply just learning how to cook, I know you wouldn't be familiar with an old school dish like this, but this is a good hearty soup, and it's one that I think that your family will enjoy. We'll just clean that bowl up just a little bit. There it is, rutabaga soup. Now, I really went back and pulled a rabbit out of my hat to get this one. But there it is, okay? What I want to do, too, is fried apple pies. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with fried apple pies, but if I can find the ingredients that I need in order to make it, that's another dish that I was raised up on. I really do want to try it. If you get an opportunity, try this rutabaga soup. I think that you're going to really enjoy it. And as always, thank you for watching. Chris Cook for you too. Bye.